On July 12th, the two undefeated lightweight Southpaws will collide as Shakur Stevenson defends his title against William El Cameron Zepeda. This is a matchup which puts Stevenson's slick boxing and defensive genius against Zepeda's relentless pressure and volume punching.
Like the video right now. I'm not playing with you. I will shoot you. Like the video, like right now. And empty your pockets too. I ain't gonna lie. Empty that. I need that.
It's a rare Southpaw versus Southpaw showdown at the elite level, which adds an extra layer of intrigue, with many calling this Stevenson's toughest test yet. And
no, it's not.
Maybe for good reason. Their contrasting styles promise a fascinating chess match, with two very different opposing styles. Today in the ring, I'm going to break down each fighter's style, its skills in detail, and highlight the key tactical elements for their possible paths for victory. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start off with WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson. Often described as being a boxing master in the ring, he's coming into this fight with 25 wins and 12 knockouts, while he's already
25? 23, bro. Hold on, wait. Let me. I gotta do some fact checking. Bro, what is they talking about, bro? Bro, whoever at the ring need to be, bro. I ain't gonna lie, y'all bugging.
Claimed titles in 3 weight classes, building his game on defense, ring IQ, and defensive control.
I never understood that. People say he's overrated when he's a 3 division world champion.
Just out of range of his opponent's punches, or pivoting to get into a better angle. He excels at making opponents miss by inches and then making them pay with sharp counters. In fact, this defensive smooth footwork simply makes opponents overreach, allowing him to counter with precision.
I forgot how to say his name. He's Nigerian or something.
Simply puts him one step ahead, calmly dictating the pace of the fight. Stevenson's ring IQ is also off the charts in my opinion, as we've seen him completely neutralize opponents. He doesn't get drawn into wild brawls or make reckless mistakes. He sticks to strategy and forces foes to fight his fight. This is proven as he boasts the best plus-minus ratings in boxing, according to
What I just tell you,
meaning he lands far more punches than he
and I don't know nothing about boxing.
takes, and is considered one of the hardest fighters to hit clean as well, with opponents' total punches landed being the lowest at 5.4. Shakur also has incredible punch selection, which I think he doesn't get enough credit for in my opinion. In terms of this, it's his right southpaw jab that makes a huge difference, and for the most part, it's all about controlling rhythm and range with it, either probing with it to control the space, or quick, snappy, hard jabs to the body or up top to help keep them honest or make them reset their attack. But off of it, Shakur fires lightning quick straight left hands down the pipe, once again to the body or head.
Shots again.
Oh, he's an electrician. Oh, anybody else would have knocked them out. Alright, bro.
Well, sometimes he would change the trajectory, throwing it as a wide rear.
I understand somebody don't like somebody, but
off guard.
Y'all be trolling.
He's in punching range. He will take some shots. He will.
Nobody ever says Shakur is the hardest puncher in the world, but
instead it's all about accuracy and timing. When he does let his hands go, his combinations are tight and efficient, rather than wild flurries. And this measured approach means he rarely leaves himself exposed. However, it also means he doesn't typically overwhelm opponents with sheer output. He'd rather land 2 or 3 clean shots on you and get hit back by none, than throw 50 and get hit by 10 in return, which has some fans critical of his style. In terms of Stevenson's defensive mechanics,
he getting a victory, it don't matter.
In my opinion, as he uses various ways and methods.
A lot of people say this fight is gonna be like this fight. I think it'll be similar, but I think it's gonna be. Valdez is definitely a pressure fighter, but I don't think he's a pressure fighter like Zepeda is. Zepeda is a very, like, that man, he just coming to throw punches. Like how Shakur said, he don't got nothing else, but he coming to throw punches for sure, off the back, absolutely. So, no, it's not going to be like this fight. It's going to be similar, but it's not going to be like the fight for real. So, what was I going to say? I forgot. It's 1:30 in the morning.
Stop opponents from landing, one being his lead hand. He often creates a barrier with this, as I mentioned, giving more aggressive opponents an obstacle to get past.
What's his name? Zepeda would have been throwing punches right now.
Overcommitting and getting caught out by a counterpunch.
No, my favorite one is when he hit him with the 1-2. That was
left hand.
However, more often than not, it comes down to his quick shuffling footwork, where he's able to slide out of range quickly from powerful backhand shots, before either angling out of danger or shuffling behind his jab
I gotta
and
do some of my
controlling the
hair.
range. Nevertheless, at
I need to
closer
get, like,
range,
braided
he's
up or
also
something.
proven he can roll shots behind the shoulder roll or use waist movement to dodge wider shots from his competitors. Even when pressed, he remains poised, picking off shots with subtle head movement and glove parries. Stevenson does have a potential weakness though, it might just be that can be overly patient
Hold on, give me 1 second.
or too low output at times. And although he's composed and safety first, he could possibly let some rounds become closer than they could be. We saw that against De Los Santos, where neither fighter reached double digits landed per round. But make no mistake, this conservative approach is also a testament to his ring IQ and confidence.
Right.
He won't take unnecessary risks, and will only strike when the opening is there. In short, Stevenson is a masterful boxer, and arguably the best counterpuncher in the sport right now.
Facts.
Top tier footwork, sharp punch selection.
People don't give him enough
airtight
credit for that.
defense. His goal in July 12th will be to control the tempo and keep the fight at his range, and systematically pick Zepeda apart while minimizing the incoming fire.
Nakatia, is that his name? Facts. Throws a bunch of punches.
Across the ring, we'll have a very different kind of southpaw, and William El Cameron Zepeda,
Oh yeah, Southpaw too.
who comes in with an undefeated 33-0 record,
Well, I knew that.
27
I just-
knockouts,
I don't know.
and a reputation as one of the lightweight division's most relentless pressure fighters. And Zepeda fights with an all-action style that couldn't be more different
All
than
gas, no
Stevenson's
brakes.
measured approach. He's known to throw over 1,000 punches in a fight routinely, thus proving his astonishing work rate. In
Yeah, Shakur gonna
2022,
have to
he
stop
set a
him.
CompuBox record, throwing 1,536 punches over 12 rounds,
Oh,
averaging
no.
128 punches per round.
Sure.
That's 335.
I'm gonna say it right now. You know what I'm saying? Shakur gonna put him down in the 10th or 11th round with a body shot, and it's gonna be the fight. I'm telling y'all this now. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna come back to it. But if I'm right, I know I'm gonna be right. But 10th or 11th round, possibly earlier, probably 10th or 11th round, it'll be a body shot to take him out.
5 punches thrown by William Zepeda. 146 landed through 3 rounds. Unbelievable numbers that we're seeing right now.
And simply put, Zepeda brings the heat as soon as that opening bell
just so y'all
rings.
know, I did
In
see
terms
that
of his
Floyd
style,
Schofield
it's
fight,
built
bro.
off a constant forward pressure.
I was not
and volume
expecting that.
punching. He looks to apply that suffocating pace.
Not
so you
not
get
this one,
drawn
not this
into
one.
a
I'm talking about
battle
the one
on the
versus.
inside. For the most part, he is very front-footed
I just
and
said
will
that.
step to
Oh,
his
my bad.
opponent
I'm
with
tired.
hard single southpaw
trying to
jabs.
grind
I
these
will say
videos
he's
out.
aggressive, but not entirely reckless, as he will look to land with it or occupy the guard as he tries to get into range, while he often has a reach advantage over many of his opponents, and in fact will have a 2-inch reach advantage over Stevenson. And once he actually gets in range, he'll look to throw 4 to 5 punch combinations, throwing hooks.
I see. So I noticed something with a lot of people in that fight Zepeda. They like to stay on the outside, and I mean that's a good game plan. But I think Shakur gonna stay in the pocket for some reason. I think he gonna like get up close to him and pocket work him. Like I ain't gonna lie, cause like how he did versus Artem, like that.
Uppercuts.
He gonna be in the pocket
plenty
a
of
lot.
ripping
That's
body
the way you do
shots.
it. Like how
In
this
fact,
guy's
I'd say
doing it.
this is a trademark move of
But
Zepeda.
not on the outside, but in the middle of the ring. He gonna bang it out in the pocket.
Is that commitment?
He's
to
not gonna be at range. He'll be at range, of course. I mean, this is style, but he gonna be fighting with him in the middle of the ring. He's not gonna be on the ropes as much. That's what I
body?
think.
As we've seen him early in the round put all his efforts in breaking down the body. As he looks to invest downstairs and wear his opponent down,
Shakur's gonna have
he
to,
throws these
go to the
punches in
body.
high volume, aiming to break down his opponent's foundation. If they keep their guard up high, he simply targets the body, forcing them to lower their defense, creating an opening for his head attacks.
Ooh, Zepeda now with a couple of body shots now in combination and to the head as well.
In fact, in his most recent fight versus Farmer, this was something he started with straight away in a non-stop assault, almost taking him out in the early rounds. One thing is for sure, Stevenson will need to be ready for this. The other great thing about Zepeda's style, he does have a diverse punch selection, as he's continuously mixing up his punches, ensuring the same spot is never hit twice in a row. You just need to watch his fight versus Britain's Max Hughes, where he completely broke him down by mixing the head and body shots gradually, simply to the point where the pressure and punch output continually put Hughes onto the back foot and into a defensive shell. leaving his corner no choice but to throw in the towel. And this is a recurring theme of Zepeda. He might not be a one-punch knockout artist, but every single punch he throws has mean intentions and wears you down. In fact, this could be a lot worse for some opponents. In terms of his defense, opts for a mobile high guard, usually looking to block and deflect punches off it, while we've also seen him go into an L guard stance and roll shots before getting out of danger with feet, before immediately getting right back into the action. But he is more defensively aware than people give him credit for. While I will say he does also have a very good chin, as he's shown he's been able to take some huge punches, continuing to push through.
For the chin, it's going to be a body shot.
However, there is no denying there is weaknesses to his style. He can lunge in sometimes with that jab and get caught out. While we saw in the first fight with Tevin Farmer, he got a bit overzealous and was dropped by a well-timed counterpunch, and it proved that an intelligent boxer can time and counter him coming in. So while Zepeda's defense is good at times, it's his offense that really shines through. It'll be interesting to see if his style will work against Stevenson, and if he'll go with a gun-ho approach, or maybe try to
I don't know if it'll
take his time,
it'll probably
for the right moment to unleash an onslaught.
I think like the first 2-3 rounds he might give us some problems, and then after that,
another key subplot in this fight is both men are southpaws, a rare matchup at the elite level. Typically, orthodox fighters struggle with southpaws due to the unfamiliar angles, but in this case those angles cancel out. The usual lead foot battle isn't as prominent, and both fighters will be trading right jabs, left hands from the same stance. Southpaw versus southpaw bouts can sometimes turn into chess matches, as we saw Stevenson's last fight against De Los Santos, with neither guy wanting to lead. But stylistically, Zepeda isn't that guy, and won't sit back. He's the kind of southpaw who will force action regardless of the opponent in front of him. Right. That alone will shift the dynamic in my opinion. There are still tactical wrinkles. Stevenson's use of the L guard stance may come in handy, while his straight left may land more cleanly against the fellow lefty. But you'll also have to deal with Zepeda's left hand coming from angles and to the body he often doesn't face. But I also think the lead right hooks from either fighter could become a key weapon at mid-range. While footwork will matter too, as they'll need to get into a better position to land the backhand, which could give either man the edge. Footwork. It's subtle, but whoever wins this battle with the feet could land the cleaner shots. While Stevenson's last southpaw opponent made a dull affair, however his previous southpaw clash versus Jermell Herring showed what he can do against a lefty at his very best. And Zepeda might just fit that mould, as he's not the best going backwards, as he'll no doubt give Stevenson plenty to counter him with. But in the end, the stance is just a layer. The real story in this fight is whether the Matador or the Bull will dictate the terms of this fight.
Pass to victory for Zepeda just gotta outland him crazily and not get touched, which I don't think will happen. It's either you gotta knock him out or do that. And I don't see Shakur get knocked out. I can see Zepeda outlanding him and then winning by decision. I could see it. Do I think it's gonna happen? Absolutely not. Come on, let's be real. But I see Shakur taking him out with a body shot late in the late rounds. I could also see him winning by unanimous decision, but I'm going with the not late round knockout body shot. It's gonna be.
Let's look at Stevenson's keys to victory. I think controlling the distance and pace
is going to be that right hook he's known for,
especially with his superior footwork and probing jab to create a barrier against Zepeda, forcing him to overreach with his punches, and could lead to those counter-punching opportunities. I think lateral movement from Stevenson will also be key, circling and pivoting out the corners to prevent Zepeda from setting on his feet and unleashing his punches in volume. The slower technical pace favours Shakur's style, so if he can land some nice counters and keep Zepeda honest, it could just work in his favour. Speaking about counters, I think that will earn his respect. Zepeda can lunge forward with that jab, and Stevenson must make him look to pay with those precise counters, either with the check right hook or a roll and counter left hand. If Zepeda
y'all seen that right hook from him? That's what I got him dropping him with.
Left. Well, a nice counter that might set up Zepeda up is the left uppercut, something Tevin Farmer took advantage of, as Zepeda is quite front foot heavy leaning over, and showed that this punch can get through. A defense-first approach will also be important. As much as this might disappoint some fans, he must avoid the prolonged exchanges with someone like Zepeda.
Absolutely.
Standing toe-to-toe for long periods gives Zepeda every chance to land some hard shots to the body or even up top, And although Stevenson can
not
be
gonna
okay
touch
in
him
the
like
inside
that.
at times, it's simply not worth having this battle against a superior fighter.
And this
I also
fight
think it's just about
11
staying
days,
composed,
yeah.
something Shakur Stevenson is so good at. I think the majority agree Zepeda will try and make it a rough, high-pressure fight. And I think it's
Absolutely.
about Stevenson slowing down Zepeda as the fight goes on, as he starts to pick up his own offense and dominate down the stretch, picking him apart with his own quick combinations and accurate punches, while also looking to chip away at the body of Zepeda, especially against Zepeda's high guard defense, which will leave openings downstairs for him. Stevenson showed his elite body punching in his last fight versus Padley, and he may have to target this to stop Zepeda's onslaught.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I watched this fight, man. I loved every moment of this fight. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's electrician."
You gotta get a bit of consistency.
Great performance.
Stevenson will win the fight if it's his fight. A measured, tactical contest, rather than getting drawn into Zepeda's war. For Zepeda, I think it's obvious. Relentless pressure and volume. He has to find a way to make Shakur uncomfortable and put him into close exchanges. In the first Tevin Farmer fight, for example, he was far too cautious in the beginning rounds. In the second, he had a much faster start, giving Farmer.
But although I can't even say Tevin Farmer and Shakur don't fight similarly, so it's gonna be Farmer. He'll slug it with you.
Farmer hardly.
Shakur will too. I'm not gonna say he won't, but he'll be more on his P's and Q's defensively, and then as the fight goes on, he'll draw you out. And yeah,
Any time to
That's what he
think or
does.
react, only to try get out the way of his punches, which naturally made him work more and create openings for body shots. However, Stevenson is a much better defensive fighter, with much more efficient footwork and sharper counters, so he will need to be careful. Even if many of his punches are missed or blocked, the volume in itself can win the favour of some of the judges and prevent Stevenson from getting comfortable. I think one of the keys as well will be cutting off the ring, and perhaps the most important part, Zepeda needs to find a way to trap Stevenson in spots where he simply can't glide away or pivot out to a different angle. But unfortunately
easier.
for Zepeda, he might have to take one to trap and neutralise Shakur's mobility. We
It's-
saw this
it's
well in
easier
his
said
fight
than
versus
done.
Maxi Hughes, who also ran out of
Maxi
room,
Hughes is
forcing him
not
to
Shakur
stand his ground at
Stevenson game.
times, which in turn allowed Zepeda to unleash his volume punches. The next obvious path is to invest to the body. And this is a pressure fighter's best friend at times, especially against a mover like Shakur. Hard hooks to the ribs, arms and midsection, or even borderline shots, and in volume, might just make Stevenson drop his elbows just enough, or create openings up top. And if he's able to land some clean shots, it may force Stevenson to stand in the pocket a little bit more. And just going off history, Zepeda has shown he's excellent at this. But he'll need to be careful not to get countered himself, targeting downstairs too often. Finally, I think the consistency is going to be key. Zepeda needs to keep up this volume punching, aggressive approach for all 12 rounds. He can't afford to fight in spurts, or have moments of uncertainty, or even lulls in action, as this benefits Shakur to get off his work or set up counters. I think maintaining that high work rate and closing the range as much as possible will be essential to have any chance in this fight. He needs to make Stevenson tired mentally and physically. In other words, this has to be a high pressure dogfight from Zepeda. Overall, this is a compelling clash of styles. Tactically, it's the classic bull versus matador matchup, but with a southpaw versus southpaw twist. Will it be Shakur Stevenson's slick footwork, supreme defense and ring IQ to stop the bulldozer approach from Zepeda? Or will William Zepeda's non-stop pressure, volume punching and body attacks actually break through the slick defense of Stevenson? Stylistically, this could be a very ebb and flow fight, or a complete domination. Hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Let's hear your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Make sure to watch this fight live in the DAZN pay-per-view alongside Berlanga versus Shiraz. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.
Alright, y'all, man. Tell me how y'all felt about that. For sure, I got Shakur winning. Y'all already know what's up. But I appreciate y'all both for watching, and I'm about to grind on a couple more videos right now. Probably another reaction, and I got some special for y'all. It's not trust. I got some special. But alright, y'all. I'm out. I love y'all. Peace.